Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys doing? I'm just gonna I'm gonna get my chart up. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the astrology because we are just cruising on through some of these tough transits, and I just want to applaud you all. You're doing great. And important things to remember is sleep, hydration, sunshine when you can get it. Not today here probably, but maybe. A walk, or if you can't get out for a walk, doing something inside your home that is stretching, hopefully using some of those bigger muscle groups. Those things can all help. Just reminders. We all need those reminders. And okay, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. Every month, we go through this cycle. Hi, Maddie. Every month we go through a lunar cycle, right? So we go from new moon, first quarter moon, full moon, last quarter moon, and then we get to the new moon. In between the last quarter moon and the new moon, so really important, they're all important times, right? But this is a really important times in terms of reviewing and releasing and letting things come into full consciousness and process and digestion. It is the kind of PMSy time of the lunar cycle where we are at full capacity. So it's harder to take on new information, or it's harder to bring on new energies. And it's really a time for integration and lessons around that cycle. Hold on one second. I'm going to grab... So the Planetary Planner, if you have your planner, hi, if you're joining me, type into the chat and say hi, because I can't see. For some reason, it doesn't tell me who's on here. I can see Maddie's here. That's it. So if you have your Planetary Planner, one of the things that I did was at that last quarter moon and beyond was to have these process, reflection, celebrate, and grow journaling prompts. And I will just tell you guys, if you've been stressed and you have one of these, doing your workbook, doing your, hi Vanessa. So if you're doing your pages and you're really looking at your values and aligning your actions with your values, I can guarantee you it's going to help you with some of the feelings of feeling out of control or feeling depression or numbness. This is a really great tool if you have it. If you don't have it, this is the last copy I actually have for sale. But they are hard. Yeah. Are you talking about the last quarter moon, Maddie? The last quarter moon is hard. So if you don't have it, I do have one copy for sale on my website. And otherwise, I think the best, I can post a link if you want to get one. Hi, Donna. Okay. So if you're just joining me, I'm going to talk about the astrology. I'm getting to it, coming around. Woo! So every month when we get closer and closer to the new moon, it means that we're getting closer and closer to new fresh energy coming in and closing out that old energy, okay? One of the things to keep in mind is that this is the last lunation, the last new moon with the North Node in Cancer. And I talk all about this. I have my new moon video up on YouTube. So if you want to watch that, it's there. I think it's on Instagram too. If you follow me on Instagram, just Sparkle and Shine Guidance on Instagram. So I'm not going to go into that too much, but what I want to say is as we're getting closer to those nodal changes that are happening, hey Dee Dee, as we get closer to those new, so we're in a cycle where the North Node is moving into Gemini, and I have a whole video on that on my YouTube. But one of the things that I just want to remind you is in this last lunation, it's a very feminine cycle, and it really asks us to get in touch with the earth, Gaia, through Taurus season, and the ocean, through the mama ocean, through the Cancer North Node. And if you'll notice, these themes of mothering and nurturing and really having compassion are really lit up. And the opposite, the polar opposite of that is what we're clearing out, which is the Capricorn energy, which can be a little bit more harsh and judgmental and very much about staying in line, not asking too many questions, very much about following the prescribed patriarchal plan, okay? And one of the things that I really want to emphasize is that there isn't, I'm not saying, and I get a lot of men that like my work, but are like, gosh, you talk so much about the patriarchy and negative and then the divine feminine being positive. It's simply because there's an imbalance. I guarantee you, when this starts to come back around, we're going to need to talk about that healthy masculine, and I think we need to talk about it right now. But I think what's also really important to recognize is that because there is such an imbalance in being able to listen and see value in that feminine perspective, until that happens, we really do need to talk about it. And I am not talking about men and women, and that's also something to really take into account. I'm talking about the divine feminine and that feminine energy within us all, and really being able to feel our feelings, see the value in slowing down and not go energy, and a lot of other things that I also talk about in the planner. So if you don't have that, definitely you might want to get one. So this last little bit of the North Node in Cancer, another great thing to do is, if you haven't already watched my video on the North Node in Cancer, you can look at where that's happening in your house system and watch that video. And I do a house by house, so I'll tell you like the work that you've been working on for the last 18 months so that you can wrap it up, so that you can like really come into this place of integration and recognizing the lessons that you've gained in these last 18 months, so that we can move on to this new cycle of Gemini, which is more of that fluidity between masculine and feminine. It's very androgynous, and it's very about seeing both sides and being able to see both sides without judgment, without fear. Okay, so that's what we're moving into. And I want to also affirm this whole thing about the moon crosses over. So we have been in Aries season, and that's actually shifting signs. If you're in my astrology group, we're meeting today at 5, so don't forget. So the thing about the cycle that we're in, so the sun's in Aries, and as we get to this closer to the new moon in Taurus, one of the things that happens is the moon crosses over. The moon crosses over and will come into meeting the sun in Taurus. But before it does that, it will cross over Aries. And so it's that very last little bit. Now, right today, the sun is at 29 degrees of Aries, which is the critical degree. Like, did you get it? Did you understand what this whole journey was about? And it's about your own identity and who you are individually. So as we come where this moon is going to not only square all of that Capricorn stuff and conjunct Mercury and Black Moon Lilith and Chiron, it's going to be an intense weekend, okay? So really getting clear, get your journaling out, really get clear on what your lessons have been, not only in this Aries season, but also just this last 18 months. And really being okay with whatever is arising for you emotionally. Hi, Mary. Hi, Maureen. How are you guys doing? All my Utica elders. So as we're coming into this place of a new moon in Taurus, which is a whole new energy that we're going to be in starting on Wednesday, okay? A lot's going to shift internally in our internal process until then. And what's really important is to recognize that whatever is presenting itself to you is of vital importance for you to honor and to integrate. And it's less important for you to recognize and see what's happening for everyone else's journey. And I'm just talking about these next 2 days. It's really important to go within, okay? And to look at what fears are getting activated for you, because it's different for everybody, what triggers are happening for you, and what you've learned in this last little bit, right? Another thing that's happening is the sun is literally squaring Saturn. And this happens, when it happens, it's creating limitations. So a square in astrology, it's that squaring energy. It's harsh and it's a challenge. And so when Saturn has newly moved into Aquarius, yes, I have a video for that. It's on my YouTube. when Aquarius is the sign of freedom and of thinking outside the box and seeing things in a whole different way and awakening and breaking away from the community. When we have Saturn there, it's creating limitations to that. It's creating limitations to freedom. And so the sun, our personal awareness, our conscious awareness, and Saturn, limitations, harsh, disciplinary, are squaring each other. We're going to feel that conflict. And it can be really easy to kind of lash out at the people around us and to take this energy out or create this illusion that your partner is creating all these limitations for you, because it feels easier when we can point the finger, and it feels easier when we can try to justify these limitations as being somebody's doing this. And the reality is this limitation that has happened regardless of the source, regardless of where it comes from, is very purposeful. And if you know anything about kind of being human, it's that we sometimes need limitations, and we sometimes need to create or have limitations on us so that we can be forced to do the work. And the work is all interior. And I saw this really funny meme a friend had posted, like, all the woo-woo people, everybody thought the woo-woo people were crazy until crazy things happened, and it was the woo-woo people were staying calm. And I think my friend Kat posted that today or yesterday, and I was like, that's so true, because it's like it's not new that we're living in crazy times. Some of us have been very well aware that we are living in crazy times, and now we can actually see it and see how the systems don't work for the people. And because of that limitation, we can also see what we need to do internally to be okay with whatever's happening. And so Saturn square the sun is going to bring in this conflict of wanting to have control, wanting to be limitless and have no limitations, but that's not the human experience. The human experience is limited to this body that is temporary and to this mind that is limited. And because of that, we have to make peace with whatever is arising within this body, within this mind, so that we don't go crazy, okay? And so as we come closer to the new moon in Taurus, we're going to have this newer energy coming in that is a little bit more grounded than where we've been. Right now, we've been kind of in warrior mode, and then we're going to come into some more peaceful energy with Taurus season. But Uranus is in Taurus, and Uranus is the Tower card in Tarot. It is the sudden shifts and sudden changes. But because it's in Taurus, I just want to remind you, because it's in the sign of Gaia, because it's in the sign of the Earth goddess, whatever is arising for us within this time frame is very much for the evolution of the planet, the evolution of Gaia, whatever you believe. If you just believe in Mother Earth, if you just believe in plants, if you just believe in earthing and feeling the benefits of being out in nature or hiking, just know the more that you're aligned and in tune with that, the better you're going to fare during these times of great change. And so just coming back to that and remembering the limitations are important. Yeah, and that's like the divine feminine wants us to slow and sense and smell and be. And so the more that we're doing that during Taurus season, the better it's going to be. Once we get to Gemini season, you guys, I am not gonna sugarcoat Gemini season for y'all. And like into May, we're having Venus retrograde, which I'm gonna make that video today. In Gemini, we have the nodes changing into Gemini, the North Node changing into Gemini, and Gemini season in general is very busy. So that's intense. We have to prepare our bodies and tapping into the earth before that happens. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up, but I do want to say Wednesday, we're starting a journey through the archetypes and astrology for feminine leadership. And so, again, the masculine and the feminine are necessary, right? They're equally necessary though. And right now we have this very disproportionate lack of the feminine in leadership. And so I am wanting to journey, and I'm wanting you to join me. And it's not just for you, it's also for me, and to share this journey with you all. So if you want to join me, I know I am so excited too, and I need this. And so it's starting Wednesday. We are literally going through the 13 feminine archetypes and figuring out where they are in your birth chart so that you can draw upon her for guidance, for strength, for nurturing, and for well-being. I'm so excited, and I really hope that you'll consider joining us, because I want it to be a very nurturing community. So if you want to learn more about it, I will post the link below. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and check out I'll post the blog today for the new moon in Taurus. And I hope you guys have a beautiful, nourishing weekend. And remember that whatever limitations are coming up for you, have a purpose for going within and exploring. Okay, have a great day. Bye. Hi, Fiona. Bye.